for the moment, Hagar is great in the biggest geopolitical trap set in history. This is the Aegean. You see Greece is green there, and Turkey's on the east here on the 3 o'clock position. And that island in the bottom here at the 6 o'clock position is Crete, and we have the USS Bush there, the American aircraft carrier that's ready to protect Greece and the Aegean Sea. As we know, most of the Aegean Sea is owned by North Aegean Petroleum Company, which is an American company. And let's see what's going on. Most people have their attention in what's happening in Ukraine or maybe China and Taiwan, but this Aegean Sea has more oil and gas than the whole of Saudi Arabia. Most people don't know that. Now, the Turk may seem great at the moment, thus Hagar here, but Greece at the same time is surrounded by 1,002 nightmares. Things are not rosy at all. Objective current affairs show that they want Greece to be the protagonist not in prosperity and progress, but to become the main protagonist in a conflict with Turkey and not in an isolated hot episode. What else is heard helps not in alertness, but in a good sleep. They know their job for so many years. And this is written by Dr. Konstantin Vardakas. The support to Turkey of 3 countries that have sent thousands of illegal immigrants to Greece with a rich criminal record and are still sending them in the matter of Libya was announced by the Turkish newspaper Yeni Safak. The powerful people of the earth are inflating Turkish leaders Erdogan's mind. It is as if they are telling him, you are a big regulator of things in your area and send forces wherever you want, build missiles, UAV drones, etc. So they inflate his mind, only to suddenly deflate them. But let's go to the prophecy for a moment, great Hagar, which has a special weight for our days. When the prophecy goes hand in hand with the geopolitical current affairs, the unique truth of the omnipresence and completeness of the leader and finisher of human history, our Lord Jesus Christ, is experienced. What reason did the anonymous holy ascetic around 1053 AD have, according to scholars, in 1503 or 1603 AD to write in the saved manuscripts in the library of the holy monastery of Kutlu shocking propensities? This prophecy is known, and with its other indications, it has a great timeliness and permeates our past, present, and our future. Among other shocking things written, he also says, for a moment, great Hagar, meaning for a moment in history, the great Hagar meaning Turkey. Each word in the above sentence has a special weight and pictures events that we seem to be experiencing now. Quote, for a moment, unquote. The phrase for a moment seems to indicate not only a limited time, his few loaves of bread, but also the passing of the virtuality of the real situation of Agarinos, meaning Hagars, the Turks, who appear strong, but in fact is not. Megas, meaning strong, shows why he behaves arrogantly. Megas shows why Russians and Americans do him all the favors. We know that Russia is an ally of Turkey, and Turkey, of course, an ally of the United States. Shows why Russians and Americans do him all the favors. He seems to be big, referring to Turkey, because the powerful are wooing him with deals and gifts. Turkey with S-400s and the U.S. with F-35 and Patriot missiles, with the ultimate goal of politely tearing him to pieces, according to what the one of the recent new saints of Christian Orthodoxy, Saint Paisius, says. Hagar is today Agar, truly Agarine, because the Kemalist Turkey we know was transfigured into a neo-Ottoman state with particularly important fanaticism, as if the anonymous ascetic wrote the above phrase for a moment the great Hagar and was referring to the era of Erdogan, the president of Turkey today. at the and the elections, the Turkish elections are coming up, and a lot of people say he's screaming for war and conflict because he knows that he's not at all popular in Turkey. He may lose the elections, so that's why all this is going on. We'll see though. So at the moment, Hagar Erdogan looks great because after the geopolitical trap that is being set up, he will become minimal. The trap already set is based on the avarice and greed of the Turk and has an encircling arrangement. On the Syrian front, there in Idlib, he does not say that the evil will be quiet, as a result of which he keeps important forces. At the front of the energy, the Aegean Cyprus, in this we know that with Cyprus, Israel also is extracting oil from the area. It's a joint program they have. So in this trap, the Turk will also have his huts in his belt. Parenthesis, this front started with the illegal agreement between Turkey and Libya. Thoughts about appealing to The Hague and the intention to immediately delimit the economic zone do not move the Turk, who has decided that he will do what he will do in the next 24 hours. In Libya, the Turk will fail miserably and immediately turns to the same sea, Aegean and Cyprus. But some people go to the television windows and instead of supporting the attitude of the overworked Greek people, they terrorize them with phrases like, "We are afraid of a hot episode with Turkey," and other things. So we ask, when did the Greek soul become afraid to be afraid, and now even at the moment when it has historically open accounts of centuries with the insolent and bloodthirsty neighbor? Let's move on. On the front of the Black Sea and the Straits of the Bosporus, the Bosporus is a very tight area, a passage between west and east Turkey. That's where Constantinople, Istanbul is, and you go through that Bosporus Strait into the Black Sea, and up the opposite side is Crimea and Russia and Ukraine. So on the front of the Black Sea, the Straits and the city meaning Istanbul, this trap will be a consequence of the previous trap in the Aegean, Cyprus, and Mediterranean, because Turkish greed will create obstacles in this strategic planning of the Russian elite in this region, which is a critical geopolitical path that goes down from the Arctic Circle to the Suez and beyond. In the Kurd front, its protagonists received an order from above to be complacent until the other traps were opened for good, and if all these science fiction scenarios are no longer but have become our everyday life, then let's go to the holy country that said for our days, Turkey will see everything but from below and caught on all fours. St. Paisius saw that Turkey would be caught. Turkey is like a fox. He does all the tricks. When he realizes that they have set him up to be caught, he will begin to jump on all fours and thus is caught on all fours. This will also happen to Turkey. Testimonies of pilgrims that Elder Saint Paisius talked about. He lived between 1924 and 1994, volume 1, page 66. The four legs of Turkey are the four fronts, traps that we mentioned above, and have already opened and are open, with Syria, with Greece via Libya, with Russia. It will be a surprise, but not for us. There is also a long wounded leg called the Kurdish issue. We know that the Kurds are one third of the population of Turkey is Kurdish, and they want their own independence, of course, which Turkey doesn't want. So we as Greeks may not have the super weapons of the earth's powers that are showing them to us today, but we have nuclear spiritual weapons. In other words, we have very strong spiritual and faith in God, which are our Christian faith and the genuine ascetic patriarchal mentality leavened with a tradition of the Levantine and of our heroic survival in troubled times, which is preparing again to bear the same fruits as those it has always borne, unique in world history. Let's remember that Greece was enslaved to Turkey for over 400 years, and we obtained our independence in 1824. Up to then, we were slaves to Turkey for over 400 years. Now, so it's pretty recent that we have our memories of how we were. Now, we don't have these spiritual weapons hidden in missile silos, but in iconostasis and humble pilgrimage, and every night we kneel with prayers. These they want to take from us because they know it is spiritually deadly for them and extremely dangerous. The holy Saint Paisius, the saint is such a super weapon. He said is such a super weapon, and he is already burning with words the so-called friends and sworn enemies of our race. But in the end, what will happen to all those who, with the aim of breaking up Turkey, have targeted our national existence? Testimonies of St. Paisius from his little hut in Panaguda of Mount Athos. These so-called friends of ours will tread on it, and the others, our so-called friends, will have their minds on the Dardanelles and Turkey and European Turkey. This is what he said in September 20. This is from September 23rd, 2012 edition. Also, the above anonymous ascetic comes from a long time ago in 1053 or 1603 AD, and in the mentioned manuscript of the Holy Monastery of Kutlumusio of Mount Athos, to complete and confirm St. Paisius, that our supposed friends and others will tread on it in the straits in the city, that is, the Dardanelles Straits and the city of Istanbul. For the time being, the strong Hagar battle of 7 states in Constantinople. 3 days and 3 nights of conflict, victory of the largest state against the 6 states, meaning countries, nations, alliance of 6 states against the 7th state, 3 days and 3 nights of conflict, victory of Orthodox people, general slaughter of Agarenes under surrender of the city to the Hellenes. After this, the course of for the time being, Mega Agarene is prescribed. Some of the above are experts from the article March 2018. Today, everything is aligned and running as the prophecy said. The prophesied flight is impossible. The city will be taken over, and the cathedral of the wisdom of God will be opened. Welcome resurrection is a bumpy road in the new year with all that is happening and will happen. And this is by Dr. Konstantin Vardakas, a theologian. I've translated this for you from a Greek article. This has to do with prophecy and current events. And as we see, everything is going very fast. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.